Hey, sewing friends. So I recently read a quote that said, just because you're struggling doesn't mean you're failing. Every great success requires some kind of struggle to get there. So I'm holding on tight to that thought because I have been struggling with the Cashmerette Kineton dress. Now this is a club pattern, so you have to be part of the Cashmerette Club to access the pattern, but it very much reminds me of the Rhapsody dress. Now the Rhapsody has a lot of tops, but it also has a dress version, and it's similar in that it's just a top and a bottom that you slip over your head, no zipper, no buttons, and then it just has some elastic around the waist. But therein lies part of my struggle, but I'll get to that. The first part, and let me show you the dress. Here's the dress. I haven't hemmed it yet because I'm just not there. Just because honestly, I can't stand this dress. I'm tired of this dress. I'm done with it. Part of the struggle came in that I knew I had to line it, and so I chose a lining. I had the silk habitai, China silk, I think they call it. And I thought, oh, that's going to be just perfect because look, it has these little blue flowers. And by the way, this fabric is a crepe de chine that I got from Stone Mountain and Daughters. Really cute, huh? So I thought, okay, this will be great. And I was only planning on lining the skirt, not the bodice. And so I was putting it together, and I don't know about you, but I always try things on as I'm constructing it just to get an idea of what it's going to look like, to see if there's any fit issues. So I was putting it on, and I noticed that the skirt, my eye went straight to the lining. You could sort of see it through the fabric, but there wasn't any lining on top. And I thought, well, I'm not done with it. Let's see. I have to have it lined because this is literally sheer. I don't know if you can see through the camera or not, but if I weren't to line it, you would definitely see my underwear and my thighs and everything. So it definitely needs a lining. So I went ahead and kept working on it. And the crepe de chine was a little difficult to work with. Used my walking foot. That helped immensely. Used a Microtech needle. That helped immensely too. And I got to the part where I was pretty much finished. I just had to hem the sleeves and hem the end of the dress. I'd already done the casing with the elastic through it, and I tried it on, and immediately my eyes noticed the difference. The dark blue lining and the top, no lining. And to me, it was noticeable. It was like that's the only thing I noticed about the dress. Nothing else. Couldn't tell you the shape of it, the fabric, anything. I just noticed that difference, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to wear it. And I was kind of kicking myself because, this is a really pretty crepe de chine, in my opinion, And it's like, I could have made a blouse, could have made a top, but I made this dress, and I'm not going to wear it because I just don't like that contrast. It was just like so stark. So I said, okay, Carol, don't throw away the fabric. Don't throw away the dress. Come on, you can fix it. You're a good enough sewist that you can fix this. And so as much as I didn't want to, I unpicked the elastic casing, I unpicked the bodice from the skirt, I unpicked the lining from the, skirt, and I replaced it with a white silk habitai, which I have in my stash. Now this is actually, I have several colors of this in my stash. This is just, just a little FYI. I'm not affiliated with Mood Fabrics in any way, but I do like this as a nice lining because I like to line all my skirts and dresses. I just prefer to have a lining with it. And so I have this, they call it like a China silk or a silk habitai in various colors in my stash. Just whenever I have a little extra money, I'll go and buy 3 yards of a color that I think I'm going to be using. And so I already had this in my stash, and I went ahead and replaced it. And I gotta say, it made a world of difference. I put the dress on and I went, hey, yeah, I wasn't seeing, my eye didn't go directly to that contrast between the dark skirt and the light top. But then I was kind of looking, at the dress itself. And all I can say is that it's a very sweet dress. It's a plain dress. There's nothing wow factor about it at all, really. And so yeah, I wasn't really thrilled with it. Now, one of the issues that I don't like, and I'm going to have to work on correcting it, is this elastic casing. Now, all the elastic casings that I've done in other dresses, so I've done it in the Love Notions Rhapsody dress, I've done it in the Love Notions Aria shirt dress. I've also done it in the McCall's dress where there was, an elastic casing. All of them, you could see 2 rows of stitching on the outside of the dress, and that created the casing that you would put the elastic through. Now, kudos to Cashmerette. They do it a different way where you don't see that stitching on the outside. You just have that one seam where the bodice and the skirt come together. So what happens is you have I don't know if you can see it this way. Okay, see? There's the lining. So it's actually on the inside here. So what I don't like about it is that you're wearing the dress and here is your casing and it's just free. So what's happening is sometimes it'll twist up into one area, like in the front, and in the back it'll be down, and it's really uncomfortable. So I tried pressing the seam up and the same thing happened, it would twist. So I then tried pressing it down where it is now, but you stand up, you sit down, it starts twisting, and I don't like that. So I'm thinking I can strategically hand tack it in place. You have a center seam, side seam, a back seam, and another side seam. So I'm thinking I can strategically tack it down so that it doesn't twist. And that might help the other issue I have with the elastic casing. So I made a size 16 with an EF cup, and that is basically my size in Cashmerette patterns. Some of the adjustments that I do need to do is I do need to increase the length of the bodice because I have a long torso, and then I also need to lower the dart usually. So I did add a ½ inch to the bodice, and I think if I make this again, I need to lengthen it even more because what happens is it kind of sits on a little bit above my natural waist, which from an aesthetic point, it does look really nice, okay, because it tends to be narrower the higher it is. But when I sit down, and I don't know about you, but with me, when I sit down, I kind of spread out in certain areas. And so when I sit down, the elastic wants to go up. Even though I have loose elastic, it's not that the elastic is too tight, okay, because I purposely kept it loose to prevent it from going up, but it still does. And what happens then is it goes right underneath my bust, and I just feel that it makes me look really busty as I'm sitting there. And then when I go to stand up, it stays there, so then I have to pull my dress down every time I stand up from a seated position, and then the waist casing is twisting and all, and it's just uncomfortable. So the way it is now, I don't see myself wearing this dress. I need to hand tack it down. And I'm thinking, I'm not ready to give up on it. I still see potential, I think, in the pattern and in this dress, but I'm thinking what I might want to do is either add a belt, but I would have to go shopping and find a belt that goes with it, or I'm thinking of making a tie to go with it. So I do have enough fabric left over that I could probably piece together a nice tie and wear that with the dress. But the way it is right now, I'm kind of done. So I'm just going to let it sit for a week or so. I don't think I'm going to work on it this weekend, but I just need to set it aside for now. I don't know, have you guys ever had that where you don't want to give up and quit a project, but you just want nothing to do with it for the moment? You need to give it a timeout. Send it to its room, send it to the corner, give it a timeout. Well, this dress, I'm going to have to give a timeout. So right now, I'm kind of on the fence with the dress. Or the pattern. I don't know if it's my fabric, my construction, the pattern itself. So on my Polymeter that my husband made, I'm going to give this a 3 right now. But I'll update that score once I've worked on it and gotten more of an idea as to if I like the dress or if I really truly don't like the dress. Right now, Polymeter score of 3. So guys, on a more positive note, my next make is actually a 5 on my Polymeter. It's one of my favorite dresses so far. So I hope you'll join me on my next video and I'll show you what it is. Bye for now.